This is the Morning Swim Show for Monday, August 24th, 2010. I'm here at the site of the 2010 Pan Pacific Championships with the head coach of the Australian national team, Leigh Nugent. Thanks for joining us today.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
So, on a scale of 1 to 10, give me an idea of how the team's doing here in Irvine.
We've got a very young team here. We've got 20 first-timers, so it's more than a third of our team, and they're doing pretty well. Some of our more experienced athletes are obviously holding the team's performances up. But I think for this meet, we've got the Commonwealth Games after it. We're trying to do a dual preparation here, and some people are probably more in the process of getting ready for the Commonwealth Games and using this as a meet preparation for that, but the racing has been sensational.
Well, you're talking about it's mostly youngsters. I think probably the standout youngster for us has been Yolan Kukla. I mean, she's 14 years old. She's made 2 finals. I mean, was that going in? Were you guys expecting her to be so good?
Oh, look, it's hard to say with a young athlete, someone 14. It's easy to be overawed by an occasion like this, but she's handled herself very well, and I think once she got the 50 fly out in the first day, she was right after that, and we saw what she did in the 100 free last night, and she's in the final of the 100 fly tonight and in our relay, so it's been a great experience for her.
Tell me about some of the other youngsters that are experiencing their first time in big international meet.
Well, we've got a young fellow here, Thomas Fraser Holmes, who is a 400 IMer principally. He swam the 400 free today. Unfortunately for him, he was disqualified in the medley yesterday in the heat. Swam his best time, 4:15.7, but we'll get past that. We'll make a technical change to his turn and he'll go well. But there's another young fellow, Jaden Hadler, 1:57 in the 200 fly. I think he's looking pretty good, and in our breaststrokers, the women, Samantha Marshall, 1:07.0. It's a good move forward for her, so yeah, we're looking forward to it. There's a few still to go.
Yeah, and then on the flip side, you got these veterans, and I'm going to point out 2 of them, Liesl Jones and Eamon Sullivan, their first big international meet since the Olympics. Yeah. What's it been like having them back on the team?
I think for them, they're so experienced, but nevertheless, when you first come back into international competition, there's always questions that you're asking yourself, where am I at really? And it's almost starting over again for them. But Liesl in particular swam very well in the 100 breaststroke and did a great job today in the 50 in the heats. So we're pretty comfortable where she's at. And Eamon, he's always typical of a sprinter, I suppose, male. He's a bit finicky, some things haven't gone right for him earlier in the preparation. He's always been troubled by injury. But I think he's performed fairly well here, and this will just help him get ready for later in the year and obviously the World Championships the following year.
And obviously you as a coach are probably real happy that he's been injury-free so far. That's probably boding pretty good things for his preparation for leading up to Commonwealth Games this fall in London.
Definitely. I think the racing for the sprint men in particular is particularly important. If you're injured, you're out of it. Eamon's always on the verge of injury. He's on that precipice all the time. He takes himself to that limit. But he's been good here. He's had a bit of respiratory infection, but there are no excuses. He's up here to race and trying to improve himself.
And I also want to mention another name that it's just a thrill to see him on the team, Jeff Hugel, Skippy. What's it been like having him on the deck for the Aussies?
Oh, look, he's a wonderful character to have around, and what he's done, coming back from 2004 virtually to this time to get himself onto this team. He looked at the 50 initially because it was an event in the Commonwealth Games and the World Championships. But now, we've convinced him to go for the 100, and he's in the final tonight. So, man of his experience, who knows what he can do.
And kind of a little bit of bad news on the team. Stephanie Rice had to step out of the meet and for Commonwealth Games to do shoulder surgery. But I would imagine there's still some positives to be taken out of it. It's 2 years from the Olympics, so pretty much a good time to do this.
Look, it's a bit of live to fight another day here. Stephanie is a wonderful athlete. 3 gold medals at the Olympics, 2 world records, 3 really in the relay. So it doesn't come much better than that unless you're Michael Phelps. So Steph had positioned herself very well from our trials on a limited preparation again, and has just struggled with this shoulder for so long. And in the end, it just became time to make a decision, and we're better off to get her addressed now with some surgery, clean up the problem, and then she can get on with her preparation for obviously 2011, but more importantly 2012.
Absolutely. And I think something that it's really striking for a lot of, especially the American viewers, is that they don't understand that Australia does have another taper meet coming up, Commonwealth Games in October in India. And I think I'm sure a lot of the Australians are looking at their times, even if they're swimming well, and saying, I know I could do better in a few months.
Yeah. Look, we came here to race. We love racing in the USA. We love racing against the USA, Japan, Canada. But the Commonwealth Games is a massive event for the Australian public, and it really has to be our priority. But this is a priority swimming event as well, and we want to do as well as we can here, considering those things.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing that to all the Commonwealth countries, they really do build up the Commonwealth Games as the big meet. So I guess for you guys, it would be like the Americans looking at it as the World Championships last year.
Yeah, definitely. We're seeing such great heat swimming here, not only because of the format of the meet, but every team has got athletes competing for these teams beyond this meet. And it's created just intensity in the heats, just sensational.
Talk about that, because you got a lot of athletes who have had to swim fast in the morning to get into that A final and get in that 2 team per country format. As a coach, when you're having the team meetings before each prelim session, what are you telling them to get themselves up and ready in the morning?
Well, our message right off the bat was, you better be on in the morning, or you're just not going to be there at night. And for the reasons we just mentioned. When you've got athletes in the morning competing to try and get to a World Championship or a Commonwealth Games team, they're going to do everything they can in the morning. So you've got to be on your game. And it's a tremendous experience for people going to the World Championships or the Olympics, Even perhaps at the Olympics and the World Championships, you've got a second chance. Maybe if you're scraping to the semi-final, 1 in 16 chance, but here it's 1 in 8 or 1 in 2 maybe,
Yeah.
You've got to get past your own teammate.
It's your first big international meet as a national team head coach for Australia. Tell me what your thoughts are on the job.
Yeah, it's my first international meet since 2004 with our national team. I was head coach at Athens. It's been a great team to work with, and I think we've got a real future building up in our team here. As we move in towards 2012, we've got some people very well positioned to make a strike there. And then obviously the longer term approach is Brazil 2016. So we're looking back a little bit perhaps at our 16-year-olds and that for that event. But right now I think we're going to build our team to London, and that's our plan. The USA is always a massive challenge for us, and we're watching the rest of the world, particularly in Europe, where they're targeting, single events and investing everything that they can there to snipe that gold medal, and that hurts countries like the US and Australia who are trying to go for a big haul.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's I'm sure a big challenge and responsibility. It looks like you guys are doing it really well.
Thanks very much. We're loving being here. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Coach.
Good on you.
All right, this is Morning Swim Show again. I'm Jeff Cummings from Irvine. We'll see you next time.